Hello, we're here in Hamburg at the Bio Europe 2019 meeting, and at the start of the meeting we had a plenary session where we actually, to celebrate the 25th anniversary of this conference, we discussed how the industry had evolved over the past 25 years, and we had a top 10, and the number one trend was in fact the evolution of partnering. Now, I'm joined by Werner Lanthaler, who's the CEO of Evotec, a local company here in Hamburg. So welcome, Werner. You were on the plenary session, and as I say, the number one issue was around partnering. So what is interesting is how, in the early days, it was sort of biotechs and pharmaceutical companies trying to get together. But these days we're seeing a much richer ecosystem of lots and lots of different stakeholders. Your company, your business model is actually doing all those kind of deals. So what are the sort of the challenges of almost like managing all those stakeholders to get the best out of an innovative opportunity?
So Evotec is a drug discovery and drug development partnering company.
Yeah.
We already in our name basically refer to the situation that higher drug discovery efficiency is gained by partnering.
Yeah.
Why? Just imagine that everyone would drill a hole into the ocean to dig for oil alone. It would be largely and heavily inefficient. If you create platforms and share platform knowledge, all of a sudden drilling a hole into the ocean becomes a joint operation, and it becomes a win-win situation for both companies, 3 companies, 5 companies, 10 companies. So that's why in the center of Evotec's idea is to create one platform that can be shared with many different partners in business models that work for the partner and work for Evotec. And that's why for us it's actually very simple. We manage a platform and we manage a one-to-one relationship with our partner, but we don't work for one-to-one relationships only, because the platform can work for hundreds of companies. And we've seen this in the automobile industry evolving, we've seen this in the oil drilling industry evolving, we've seen this in the movie industry evolving over the last 20 years, and there is no reason whatsoever why the pharma, biotech and innovation industry shouldn't work the same.
So you pointed out that this idea of collaboration, it would improve the efficiency of the drug discovery process. Whether, what does that look like? Is that getting faster to decisions or what?
All that you care about when you want to develop a drug is make higher quality, faster decisions. Yeah? And that's what you can do if you have the highest quality technologies in your hand, and if you have a process which is highly efficient to give you 100% reliable answer. And that's what learning platforms do, because an Evotec platform is constantly benchmarked to the best in the industry, so therefore an answer from Evotec platform is a clear yes or no. Because the worst thing you can have in our industry is a maybe. Let us do the experiment again. Yeah. It's a gray result. Evotec gives clear guidance and clear results.
Okay, so you're a businessman, and the idea is that you want to generate revenues and profits for your business. When you're establishing one of these partnerships, is it transactional, or are you actually seeking partners that you're going to learn from?
The whole idea, if you create a platform, is that you create long-term partnerships. Why? Because if you have to find new partners who work with you all the time, also our platforms would be inefficient. So that's, I think, why today 92% of all our partners who ever started to work with us continue to stay on our platform.
Okay.
Yeah? And if you have this retention rate on a platform, it shows you 2 things. First, people like the quality. Secondly, people stay because they are faster in coming to the decision points. And that's why I think we're just at the beginning of starting here something where you have a true win-win situation, especially also in the pre-competitive world, where it's not so much about who now makes money or who doesn't make money, where it's really about first finding out, do we have something which is progressing science first? Because everyone must have an interest to have the best animal model on a platform. Everyone must have an interest to have the best high throughput screen. Everyone must have an interest to have the best benchmarking data on a platform. And if you can do these things, then everyone wins.
So can you sort of give us an example of where you have established one of these partnerships where actually you've seen how it has progressed and it's maybe even gone into places that you hadn't initially anticipated?
So today we work with 19 out of the top 20 pharma companies, we work with 200 biotech companies and 10 foundations. So there are many partners, which is the essence of a platform, that's one thing. But if you want to have one example, which I think is just so illustrative, it is our collaboration with Bayer, where we started a women's health collaboration. And while discovering novel targets in women's health, we have also tried the data on the platform, for example, in chronic cough. And if you then find out that one mechanism works in 2 different disease areas, it's only very little variable extra costs. But you double your market opportunity. And today, Bayer and Evotec are in phase 2 in chronic cough, transitioning this going forward into a phase 3 hopefully soon. And you are in phase 2 in women's health. So we have, by initially trying to go after one disease area, through the learning on the platform, multiplied the market by 2. And that's of course as wonderful as it can get, because the extra cost was close to 0, but the market opportunity doubled.
So, but internally, I mean, Evotec, when you've got that many touch points with all those big pharma companies, how challenging is it to sort of manage the resources? I mean, how do you sort of decide, well, these are the horses we want to ride?
It's actually not challenging at all, because the platform is completely focused on drug discovery and development. And there, when we work with a partner, we always go exclusive on a target. So it's 100% clear how our IP relationship works with you and how our IP relationships works with someone else. And as this is clear from the starting point of a relationship, this question is sorted out before it even goes onto the scientific platform. And that's why you should compare it with platforms in other industries where there's also not any complication. On Amazon, who orders a book, because it's clear rules how it's defined. Yes, our rules are a bit more complex than there, but it works and it's scalable, and that's where both parties win, because it's faster going to data points than anywhere else.
And sort of this sort of the various groups in the ecosystem. Firstly, which are the sort of the areas that are the most difficult to be able to sort of cement that relationship, and then are there sort of areas of sort of white space that actually are underutilized at the moment?
Let me start with the white space, which I think is almost an obligation to build Evotec also into this direction. That's disease area specific foundations who don't find pharma companies or top quality science that are working in a drug development spirit on their disease area. So it's really patient-centric foundations.
So philanthropic groups?
No, philanthropic groups who basically want to create best science on an industrial platform to bring this to patients. Because these groups very often give a lot of money to academic centers, but then it doesn't translate. And there is a real wide space of having these groups directly work with companies like Evotec to progress on our platforms and then find clinical entry points without the complexity of the market and pricing and pharma and anyone in between there, just to really start there. I think that's really a lot of white space if you think about the today more than 2,000 foundations that are out there who are not well treated by this industry, because very often we don't care about these patient groups because the patient groups are too small. But that's what Evotec really can provide them, to give an access to such a platform. I think that's one white space area, and otherwise I would really say the areas where I think we have to learn together with our partners the most is the difficult science arenas, which is CNS, of course, to name one of them, immuno-oncology, to name something else, where the benefit of a platform could be that by sharing data on a platform, everyone wins, because if we just start, for example, to share negative data, the platform will learn, and therefore everyone will benefit going forward from a platform where only negative data has been shared, and then basically makes the next experiment a better experiment for everyone. And I think that's where the strategic value of these platforms will come even more into this industry, and that's why I think that's where we have to have an educational process for pharma, biotechs and foundations, what Evotec truly does.
Yeah, because to sort of get that sort of, you know, almost challenging, sort of the challenge of them, I guess, sort of, you know, recognizing that they failed. You know,
yeah, but in a world,
not hard?
No, it's not hard, because in a world where if curing a disease would be easy, we would have all done it already. Yeah. But what you really want to do, you want to fight against the disease on the best possible platform. And that's, I think, where we are not giving up, to first create the best possible platform. Yeah? Because then you know at least what you're working on. That's where the Germans are very good, to create the best Autobahn in the industry. Yeah? And that's how you should look at Evotec.
Yeah. I thought the Autobahn, which brings us back to top of the pops and Kraftwerk, I thought the whole point about the Autobahn is you can drive as fast as you like. Yeah. It's about speed again.
Yeah. And again, that's what we have to keep in mind in our industry. We want to have a shorter timeline than today, 15 years, from a scientific idea to the patient. Yeah. In our lifetimes, we have to bring this down.
Yeah. Okay, look, Werner, as always, a pleasure.
My pleasure. All the best. Bye-bye. Cheers.
If you found this video useful, subscribe to the channel and get the opportunity to see other content that we've got coming that will look at industry trends and discussions with thought leaders.